everybody doing today? It is Monday, and we are ready to go here. AM Plus Money being shortly. Let me get this out of the way and get you some money. Welcome to our sponsors, Caesars Sportsbook. Free bet insurance up to $1,250 for first-time users. Download the app today. If you used it last week, could have made a ton of money. You had that safety net. We didn't need it. Absolutely killed it last week in Uefa Champions League and Europa League. And we're going to do the same thing this week because we know a little bit more about this. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell. So here's the new hours for the show. Right now, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 12. 11 to 11:30 some days, 11 to 11:40, whatever. There's an hour window there. So I'm on my lunch break from work. So instead of eating lunch, I'm going to come here and talk to you about some winning some money. So I hope you appreciate that. Put these are the wrong Champions League. I thought I fixed these. I'm going to fix these when Plus Money comes on, and we're talking a little bit about the games here. So what we're gonna do is, since there's no Thursday show, we're going to basically, today will be an overview of the week. We're going to get you some games. We're going to look at the games we're targeting. Maybe we don't tell you exactly what to play. Maybe we do. We're going to tell you what games we're targeting. And then, Tuesday, maybe, hold on. Computer, lower the volume. Computer, lower the volume. Alexa doesn't listen sometimes. Hey, what's up, Abdi? How's it going, man? How'd you do over the weekend? NFL was brutal, man. NFL was like a bloodbath if you took the favorites. I don't know. You have any of the favorites this weekend for these NFL games? Because it was a bloodbath.
Yeah. The two favorites I had lost, and the one dog I picked won. I had the Colts -7 and the Titans -5.5. Titans blew a stupid game. Like, if they don't muff that punt in the last 4 minutes, there's no way the Giants get the ball back and tie that game up. And then the Colts just looked terrible with Matt Ryan. Oh, my God. And my winner was the Falcons. I was harping all week. I was harping on the Falcons to my friends who asked me about the game. Like, I'm so down on the Saints. They're such a bad team. And all they did was prove my point yesterday. I don't think that was a game where, you had the Saints play bad in the first half, but they made a good comeback. No, that was a bad Saints team that struggled to beat a bad Falcons team on the road.
I think, some of that, look, the Saints game is a perfect reason why I don't sometimes take the points. If you have the Saints on the money line, like, you're all right, and you put it in a money line bet with Tampa Bay and somebody else, you're all right. Obviously, if you put it in with the Colts and the Titans, who I did like, you got beat. Alabama, same thing on Saturday. I mean, this is the reason, I posted on Twitter a few times, Texas A&M Saturday. Yeah, look, Abdi, man, I watched that game. I mean, I was all in on App State at that point, just because I didn't have it. But yeah, I just saw that coming at halftime when it was 7-7. I'm like, man, they're going to win this game. But this is, it's a good learning lesson for me because, I last week during the Champions League and Europa League, Monday through Thursday and the Thursday night game, I don't bet a lot. I bet, $30, $40 a game. I was up like $1,000 last week. And then, on the weekend, I'm trying to like give it back, and I don't understand. You know, I won enough. I broke even. Or I probably won about $50 this weekend because I had a parlay yesterday with Feyenoord and one of the NFL games that won for a pretty decent amount of money. So like Feyenoord -1. I had Real Madrid -1 or -2. I think it was -1. So I did. It's basically the moral of the story is, you know, don't bet bad games, or don't bet games you know maybe you're not as confident in. For me, soccer, football, man, is where it's at because I'm so good at handicapping it. So sometimes I get a little carried away with these first weekend NFL like this. No, I love the Broncos tonight, but I'm also a Broncos fan, so that's the thing. But like I'm gonna maybe try to find 1 or 2 NFL games a weekend and maybe target them and put it in a parlay or something like that. But can't be giving away back. I can't keep giving back my money. That's for sure. Basically. So, I was just starting to tell people. So what for right now, probably going to do no show on Thursday just because it's tough. I think getting it in at 9 a.m. or 8:45 or whatever. So what we're going to do is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, same time, 11 o'clock, and then, maybe Monday we'll do if there's no because I didn't look. I don't think there's too many games today. Correct.
No, there's nothing unless you feel like talking about
Empoli
Roma, literally the only like power league that's playing.
I like some of these Eredivisie games, but to be honest, just after last week and the way we played with we did the way we picked games for the Champions League and Europa League. I think we really should focus. I'd rather just focus. I'm not going to bet today, to be honest. I might bet on the Broncos, like I said, but for tomorrow, I think there's some interesting games and Wednesday. So I think Monday show maybe we'll just go through some of the games and see what maybe interests you, early lines and stuff like that, and then Tuesday's show will really kind of focus in more on the actual lines. So this is let's see what we have. The one game was moved from Tuesday to Wednesday. There's only 7 games on Tuesday now, 9 games Wednesday because Rangers Napoli was moved because of policing issues. Arsenal's game on Thursday is canceled in the Europa League because they don't have enough police.
Yep.
Supposedly these games are going ahead on the weekend. I don't see it because they don't have enough. If they don't have enough police for a European game on Thursday night, 4 days before the funeral, I don't see how it's going to happen. Specifically the London games. I doubt the London games will go forward. Maybe the other games will, but when they're moving Champions League games, Celtic and Napoli or Rangers Napoli to Wednesday because of lack of police, to me that's a real problem. For the weekend. Obviously, Liverpool is playing on Tuesday, but they don't really count themselves as part of the union anyway. So, Scowls Nation. I think the first 2 games Tuesday are interesting. Sporting and Tottenham. And once again, this is Tottenham at -108 here, and then I saw. I think Tottenham is almost plus money here, or they're close to it. Yeah, they are plus 103 here with Caesars. So, that's interesting to me. And then the other early game is Pilsen and Inter Milan, which Inter Milan should win because Pilsen is not very good, but who knows? But the Sporting Tottenham game, Tottenham to me seems like they should be favored a little more than that. So maybe that's a decent value play.
You'd think that Tottenham should win this game. They do have the better team. It's just I think you're seeing the line like that because they're on the road in Portugal here, and Sporting has played much better on defense in their last 3 games. I don't think they've allowed a goal in their last 3. So, Sporting's gonna come to play at home. They're off that big 3-0 win on the road over Frankfurt, so they got to be feeling good. They ripped 3 points away from them in probably a game they shouldn't have, and now they have a chance to get some points here at home against Tottenham. Tottenham also doesn't score a lot on the road, which is a concern for me. So that's every time I see them at this price on the road, it always makes me weary just because like I look at it like, good defense, where the goal is going to come from for Tottenham. They're that kind of team. And if you look at a lot of their games, they don't play a very like possessive style with the ball. They really struggle to keep possession in some of these games. They just kind of wait. They sit back and wait for their opportunity to strike, let these other teams handle the ball a little bit more. But yeah, it's just all that worries, it worries me about them being on the road, but they should win this game, you'd think. But if they do, I think it'll come in like a very low scoring 1 or 2-0 game, similar to how we saw them beat Marseille, tied for so long. And then someone breaks the scoring, and then that's probably the game right there.
Yeah, and then Inter, I'm not sure about. I know Pilsen's not very good relatively, but I just don't know about this. I didn't see their score from the weekend. Let's see what they did.
Inter Milan, I think they tied. No, they won.
1-1-0 over Torino, who's not a fantastic team.
They're always middle of the pack.
6 goals all year. I mean, they're right there in the mix. They're 4-0-2. I mean, there's so many teams in that league. Like we talked about this year, like, Rome is in 7th right now. But obviously play today, can move up to 4th. But, these teams are all the same. Napoli's playing well, which is interesting for the game on Wednesday. That was supposed to be Tuesday. But, I don't know. It's one of these games maybe I don't love. If I was going to probably bet it would be Inter probably 1.5 at plus 115. I'll just take a shot. But once again, that's a lot of goals delay for a team that's not scoring a lot of goals to me. And Pilsen's at home, so maybe they'll be up for it.
Yeah, definitely. From what we saw in the qualifying, Pilsen gets up for these Champions League matches. And from what I've seen in this Czech league so far, they're probably the best team. Never mind Slavia Prague. They're not even on the same level as this Pilsen team this year. Unless Slavia Prague gets their crap together soon. But this is a must win for Inter Milan, because even before last week's matches, when you look at their group, on the surface, they're the 3rd place team behind Barcelona and Bayern. So this is like a must win for them. They have to come away with 3 points here, or they can just say goodbye to Champions League and say hello to Europa League, because that's where they're going to end up at the end of this group stage.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Right. So the other thing I wanted to say too is like last week, I think, we were focused on specific games. I think in those games, really, other than Liverpool and Chelsea, did pretty well. Although, we did talk about how Chelsea, I changed my mind, but I originally thought Chelsea was going to lose or draw. I had Zagreb in that game. I just missed on Liverpool. But there was some other when some of these people were talking about the games, they were asking us questions about, what do you like this game? You like this game? You like this game? I'll give you an opinion on it, but like, unless I specifically say like, listen, this is what I like, these are my games. I'm trying to really focus on like 2 games or at most 3 of the 8, or or maybe like a game and an under The ones that I target specifically, I think, to have the best chance of winning. Like, yeah, you could probably play, a lot of these games, and there's some value in a lot of them. But like, I mean, there's a huge game. I think Liverpool's playing Ajax. Bayern Munich is playing Barcelona. I mean, both of those. If you bet Bayern or you bet Barcelona, you're getting great value either way. Now, I don't specifically like if I look at it, I don't know. I mean, I think that game could go either way. Probably Barcelona. If I was thinking about it right now, I would probably do, Barca and draw is probably, a plus 108 is probably a decent play there. But, is it my favorite game of the day? Probably not. Like, I think there's easier games to make money on. Maybe bet the over here too. But, I know that's kind of one thing you try to do as well. Like, just basically target certain games and then just the other ones just try to maybe throw away. Because I think if you looked at these games harder, if you looked at these games for long enough, you could find an edge probably on every one. I don't know if it's necessarily correct or not. And to me, if I have to look at a game like that hard to find an edge, it's probably not worth betting because maybe I didn't handicap it right, or maybe maybe the game is too close to call. Like, is that kind of, I don't know if that's maybe how you feel about some of this stuff.
Oh yeah, there's some games in every league where that just, if I don't like the match, like today is a great example. I didn't even bother to look at La Liga. I know there's a match, but it's something like Almeria and Girona or something like some other crap team. No. Don't want any part of that. That's a La Liga 2 game as far as I'm concerned. And there's nothing you can do to make me bet on that game. Like, ridiculous.
The thing is too, like
Osasuna, yeah.
Yeah, and Osasuna's off to a decent start here, and they're, whatever. Now Almeria's like, down, whatever. But like, if somebody comes on here and says, I got a play for you, Osasuna, Almeria, I got an edge, I got the thing. Like, unless you watch every Almeria or Osasuna game or something like that, you're breaking down. It's just like, you can't. Like, who knows who's going to win? Nobody knows who's going to win that game. Now, this on the weekend, Real Madrid, this is why I usually back good teams, like very good teams. I'll take flyers on some teams like Braga last week that hit it plus 125. That was a great bet for us. But I'm not betting some of these games with teams like Chelsea and Red Bull on Wednesday. Who knows how Chelsea's going to play at this point? They're all over the place. They're not that good. They don't have a striker. They don't have anybody that could score goals consistently. At this point, they have a new manager. Who knows how they're going to play? I mean, just from watching Brighton, they're trying. Every game is 1-0 or 1-1, or they're very close games. Maybe they change. Maybe he changes at Chelsea because he's got different players. But who knows? But I'm not, Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid with plus 175, plus 150. I want no part of that game. Every game Atletico Madrid plays is a 1-0 terror ball game from Simeone, and they might have better players. Leverkusen was terrible last week. Maybe they're better this week. I have no feel for that game, and I want no part of it. If someone asked me, hey, what will you take in this game? I would say, probably nothing. But if you're asking me who you think I should, maybe I'll give you an opinion. But I'm not betting that game. Seen someone on Osasuna. So AJS. Someone said Osasuna and both teams to score. Yeah, maybe.
That's a scrape the bottom of the barrel play right there.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not. I understand, like, people have to, like, Osasuna at plus 170. That parlay pays 480. Maybe Osasuna's on the road. They're better in the table, but they don't put big time La Liga or Liga Nos Portugal games on Mondays. It's not like England. Like, all these games are on TV over there. So they put them Friday and Monday games are usually like, games no one's going to watch at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night in Spain. It's just dawn. It's a work night. Hey, wow, there's a football match on. Maybe I'll put the TV on and whatever. But that might be a great play, man. I don't know. I just didn't handicap it. So, I mean, I will say this, like, obviously, if you have a guy you think is a good handicapper and he gives you something like that, I mean, I would go with him. They might do more research than this. I specifically, here I'm looking at Champions League because I think when you have teams from strong leagues going up against teams that aren't from strong leagues, you have a chance to win some money. And we won last week with a lot of games, won a lot of money last week. And, it's just more of a way to do it. This Bayern Barcelona game, do you have a feel for that at all?
I love that game. It's my favorite one on the board, but that's like my game of the month at one site. So I can't say what I'm on.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
I know Lewandowski's going back to Munich. For me, I would probably take Barcelona I know you're pretty high on Barcelona to win the Champions League and pretty high in the league and stuff. And they're a much better team spending money. And Bayern, at what point? Let me ask you this: at what point? I know you because this is more to the bettors. I already know the answer because you've told me this. But at what point do you just say I can't bet Bayern anymore in the Bundesliga because every weekend they draw when they should be winning these games?
I can't bet the Bundesliga at all, man. I can't. It's terrible.
Tell me, look at these games. This is crazy to me.
That's one league I don't even look at anymore because I've just gotten so sick with some of the games happening in these.
This is from Saturday, right? So Augsburg played Friday, and whatever. Saturday, RB Leipzig, who's been terrible, smoked Borussia Dortmund 3-0.
Show up for that one.
They scored right in the beginning of the game, right before halftime, and right at the end of the game. And Dortmund stinks. I don't care. They can they can win this game in the Champions League, whatever. They're not doing anything in the Champions League. They stink. Hertha Berlin against Bayer Leverkusen. Eintracht Frankfurt, who played they play well, they don't play well, they lose at home to Wolfsburg. Bayern Munich.
Wolfsburg's not a good team, too. They used to be good, but for years now they've had defensive problems and they've fallen off and they haven't gotten back on the horse.
Yeah, and then and Bayern Munich, they give a 92nd minute penalty to tie 2-2.
I saw that too.
I mean, Schalke beating both. These teams aren't any good. I'll be honest, the team that's actually not that bad is Union Berlin. I mean, they don't give up goals and they score some goals.
I think Hoffenheim has a pretty good team too.
Yeah,
I think they will be good, surprisingly. And Freiburg. But
you can't. Who the hell knows who's winning these games? I would never, ever tell you. It's just one of these leagues now that over the weekend, I said, there's no Premier League, which is my main thing. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Oh, I can bet Bayern Munich. Nah, I'm not betting them. They've been terrible. And to me, I don't know. I bet Real Madrid because I think they're good. Barcelona is good. Porto, I took Porto. They're very good. Feyenoord. There's just certain teams I like and that will win a lot of games in these leagues. But the Bundesliga right now, you can't. It's unbettable to me. So we'll go over that more tomorrow. But the Barcelona, I don't know. I would probably side with Barcelona. Porto against Bruges. I love Porto.
Yeah, Porto's been a good team. Bruges, man, they got a surprising win last week in the Champions League at home over Leverkusen. But again, and these Bundesliga teams have been so bad. Do we chalk that up to Club Brugge played a great game? Or is that a game where, just Leverkusen didn't come to play?
Abdi says he's on, but
I did look at that game actually. I love the Turkish league and Besiktas. I was actually on Besiktas just because it's not a strong play for me. It was something I was maybe looking at just taking Besiktas at the even money, but it's more so because Besiktas has been pretty good this year. I think they're going to have one of the better teams in Turkey. And, home is obviously where they play their best. They score a lot of goals. So it's not an issue of staying in this game. I think they can win this game at home. But Başakşehir has been in such good form lately. The one thing that pushes me towards Besiktas is they're not in European competition. So they have nothing to focus on this year, but let's win a title. They were the title champions 2 years ago in 2019. So this is a team that they've been so good. They've always represented in Champions League and the Europa League for many years. So this is a team where I think Besiktas is going to play this season every game like we need to win the Turkish title again. We can get back to the top. But this Başakşehir team, man, like I know they have a Europa Conference game. I don't like that this game's on a Monday because you're not giving Başakşehir much time to rest for this Thursday game. But at the same time, they're a team that's just like they're winning no matter what. They're winning Conference League games. They're winning in the league, and they're playing well. So that's what scared me off of Besiktas as a premium play. But like I would still lean to Besiktas in this game just because of the fact that they don't play in European competition and they're at home.
That's something that bettors need to remember because, these teams that don't have European commitments, you'll see them roll through they'll probably be in the Champions League next year because they don't have any of these midweek games. They get to play their strongest lineup every week, while these other teams that don't have maybe as deep a squad as, they definitely don't have as deep a squad as the Premier League teams or some of these other bigger leagues do. So, it's a little bit, they get stretched a little thinner. So yeah, Besiktas, I mean, that's an interesting play today. You get value either way. Liverpool plays Ajax tomorrow. I think I'm done betting Liverpool, to be honest. This Ajax team stinks. I know they keep winning games, but they sold half their squad. Like to me, I mean, I wouldn't touch this game, but especially after last week, the way they play, I think this Liverpool team is in trouble. I think they're going to have a bad year comparatively.
Hey, we've been preaching it. We've been preaching it since before the season started. Liverpool is not going to be the same team.
Then Haller prescription ran out. Whatever it is, it's causing this right now. They're not as good, and I just don't know, to be honest here. I am not. I'm not going to bet. You can't bet Ajax, I guess. I mean.
No, you can't bet Ajax.
Ajax draws plus 155. But to be honest, I don't even like that. Like Liverpool should win the game.
This is one I hate Liverpool. Yeah. This is a game they're winning because after the embarrassment in Italy last week, losing 4-1 on the road to Napoli, you already dropped 3 points in the table. Now you got a good Ajax team. But as you mentioned, they shed a lot of their attack and the defense is still great. But like, who's going to score on Liverpool in this game? I know Liverpool doesn't have a great defense because they've been allowing a lot of goals this year. But after giving up 4 goals in Italy, you got to think Klopp's really going to tighten up that defense for this match. Like, they need to come to play at home here. You need 3 points. You can't drop any points to an Ajax team that's not going to score goals in this match. And I think this is one where maybe you're seeing the line like that, obviously, because of how bad Liverpool has been. But also, Ajax, don't let their great form fool you because, they beat up, they destroyed. Who was it they played in Champions League 4-0? I think it was the Rangers. They destroyed the Rangers at home 4-0. Rangers are not an elite team in Champions League. That's just a Scottish league team. That's a 2-team league right there, Celtic Rangers. And it might just be a 1-team league with the way the Rangers played it this year. But that's a team where, they're not even the best. Ajax destroyed them at home. Ajax beats teams 6-0, 6-1 in their league. They don't play in a strong league. Like, the Netherlands has some good teams in it, but none of these teams are beating up 4-0, 6-0 are teams like Feyenoord, as you mentioned, or, PSV, teams like that. So this is one, again, like the Inter Milan situation. Liverpool has to win this game. There's no doubt about it. Or you can just throw them in the trash can. They're not even going to get a third place. They're going to get maybe the third place spot in this group.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Like, but now are you going to take them at minus 1 At
No,
minus
no,
two?
no. I think this is maybe
You put him in
-1
a
would be
parlay,
the
maybe?
play.
You put him in a parlay with the money line with somebody else?
Yeah, like this is one they have to win. If they can't win this game, like even 1-0, 2-0 at home, it's one that I think Ajax will probably struggle to score, and just because they don't have the attackers they used to, and they're probably going to come more defensive on the road here, trying to get knowing we're going up against a team that's not been in good form. Let's see if we can come away with a draw at least, because we'll have a better chance of, if they really are going to be this bad this year, we can beat them up when we're at home later on in the group. What would that be? Match day 5, I guess.
Yeah. I think it is. Oh, who's this? Okay. We talked about Porto. Marseille and Eintracht Frankfurt's an interesting game Tuesday as well. I think this Marseille team is very good.
Oh yeah.
I watched the French league this weekend a lot, and then they replay the games all the time on.
You needed something to fill your time, with no Premier League.
Yeah, my watching some of the games, and look, I mean, they're matching PSG, step for step here. So 6 wins and a draw. And I thought they played really well against Tottenham. They beat Lille, big win here, 2-1 on the weekend, and got a second half goal to do that. But yeah, you get Marseille about -110, a little bit above even money. You get Frankfurt, who's been all over the place. But it's probably not my favorite game of the day. But if I looked at that, I'd probably look at Marseille a little bit closer. I don't know if you like that game.
Yeah, definitely not a game I love, but I think in this situation you gotta go defense trumps all.
Yeah,
and like Frankfurt just doesn't have a defense with the way they've been playing.
Brutal.
We know Marseille can defend.
You a little worried that when you see AC Milan at -365 Wednesday in that early game against Zagreb at home? That's a pretty high line, man.
Yeah, there's no way they win that game by 2 goals. Like Dynamo Zagreb's not great on the road, but they're a high-scoring team, and I find it hard to believe AC Milan just rolls them over.
Yeah, -1.5 is -125. I mean, that's man. If I'm betting -1.5, I want a little bit better value than that. So,
yeah, and also
the over under 3 is pretty interesting. Over 3 is +102. Over 2.5 is around -130, which might over 2.75. Sorry, but that might be pretty interesting bet.
Yeah, they're just a team that bugs me because I feel like if you look at their group, they probably have one of the weakest groups with Chelsea, Salzburg, and Zagreb, and they might just look at this group like we don't need goal differential. We're gonna win on points. As long as we get like a 1-0, 2-1 win here, because look at how they played in Salzburg. They were very content with that 1-1 draw. Like I said, they were going to be. That's just something that bothers me about the team.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% there.
I don't like the Wednesday card as much as the Tuesday.
I
will say that.
I was about to say that. The Rangers Napoli game being added to that. Napoli has no fans traveling. They're not going to let the fans go. So I do like Napoli there a little bit. I saw them at -120. But Shakhtar Celtic, no. Chelsea Salzburg, no chance. I'm betting Chelsea -1.5. Sevilla, Copenhagen, no. Sevilla is +100, and they stink on the road.
I was going to say, Sevilla's not.
How is Sevilla +100 on the road? But Copenhagen, once again, not great. Juventus, Benfica, no way. I mean, because I like Benfica or draw, but not at -152.
Benfica could win that.
He is -715. I mean. Come on, man. I'm not laying. -2 is -155. 2.5 here is +108. Are they going to win 3-0, 4-0, 5-0? You know, maybe, but I don't know, man. It's it's a little bit of a longer trip. Haifa's first home game, and I don't even know if they've ever been in it. This might be the first home game ever in the Champions League group stage. City minus 625 against Dortmund. I mean,
Probably.
I mean, yeah, like minus 2.25. That's crazy. Minus 2 is minus 125, and if they win by 2 goals, you don't even win your money. To me, that's a little bit crazy. Over 2.5 goals by Manchester City is minus 157. To me, that's like basically borderline unbettable. The only way you could really bet that game is if you take like City. I don't even know if it's viable. I might take City at -1. It's not even worth it because it's 435 and put it in a parlay. You can't even do it. I mean, I could see that game being 2-0 or whatever, or 2. Who knows? I
throw them in with Madrid.
Yeah, I do like.
Come on, Madrid can't lose to Leipzig at home.
No, not at minus. The thing about Madrid that Hazard. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes he's like that one press conference with Gattuso. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Like it's like I don't know. He's been all right, but yeah, Madrid is.
He's all over the place, but I think that was a big step. The fact that they lost Benzema 30 minutes in. And they were tied, and then they came out in the second half and just like ran him over. I know Hazard's a hole, but I think they have. I think they have so much depth they can get around that. You know what I
mean? Yeah. They won. Vinicius is unbelievable. He scores every game now.
Yeah, he really does. Him and Benzema.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That team is just so good. I mean, it's just they're really, really good.
There's a reason why they didn't change anybody really and make any big moves in the transfer when they didn't need to. We're the Champions League champions.
Yeah. People were like, "Oh, they have a net spend." There's like they made money this year, but like, what do they need? Like, they got they were also going to spend like whatever on Mbappe, and they'll probably get him like 2 years anyway. But they're going to spend big, and they'll spend big. They'll bring in Jude Bellingham and a couple other people in the summer. Next summer when they freshen up the squad. I might put 0.75 Asian handicap there, but Leipzig stinks. And then Rangers Napoli. I mean the Wednesday games, to me, like when we talk about these games on Wednesday, I'm going to say, look, there's going to be some line movement before the games, that's for sure, but I don't necessarily love some of these. Like, I don't really like a lot of the games on Wednesday, and maybe there's a couple. Is there any Europa League games? Nope, there's none on Wednesday.
I will say, I think it is. There are a few matches there that are just like big matches in general for the group, like Bayern Munich, Barcelona. That group could be decided right there with that match. And same with, honestly, Juventus Benfica, because if Benfica comes away with a win on the road in Juventus, there's no way Juventus grabs the top 2 spot in this group.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Benfica will have the upper hand on them, and they're not getting by PSG, so they're going to end up in Europa League. And my issue with that game is, where do the goals come from? Just like you have this issue with Inter Milan, I have it with Juventus. Where do the goals come from?
Yeah, who's scoring for them? I just don't know. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so basically, that's kind of the look. The one game I did like, I just quickly out to Thursday, and it's pretty far out. So just kind of, the Lazio Michelin, the first game on the board. I think Lazio has been playing very well in this.
They are.
In this thing, and they're minus, basically right around even money with some of the books. Arsenal's canceled. Braga and Union Berlin is a huge game at 3:00. And, once again, we won with Braga, but this Union Berlin team is very good. That's
probably the best informed team in Germany right now.
Yeah, that's a tough game to bet. Real Betis minus 335. They looked good yesterday, but basically just kind of that's the overview of the games. And what we'll do tomorrow is we'll come on here and we will kind of take a more in-depth look at the Tuesday games for you, and we'll have the lineups for the early games. At the end of the show, you could go over those and ask some questions, but not much action today. I don't know. Do you have a play on the NFL game today?
Not really. I mean, you're a Broncos fan. I
think they kill him. To be honest, I think Seattle's playing for first pick now, and now that they saw the Giants win, maybe they just,
Hey, the Seahawks have a chance to be in first place in the NFC West with a win tonight. What do you mean? They could be leading the division.
It's hard. Like, I think this season will be the hardest season of all to wager on an NFL. We were talking about that the other day on the ESPN show. Like, it's just college football to me is easier to bet, but even college has been wacky. Like, there was some like Notre Dame lost. AP top 5 to start the season 0-2. You can't lose to Marshall. Drop them out of the rankings. Wisconsin lost. Drop them out of the rankings.
Oh, man, their offense is ridiculous.
Alabama wins by 1 point. Drop them to 15th. Obviously, they won't. They got through, but
I think that's more. Personally, I think Georgia's the best team in the country, but I think that was more of a Texas should be a ranked team. I think that's what that's more of. Like Texas, that defense came to play, and they probably have the best running back in Bijan Robinson. Like when this guy goes to the NFL, I'm watching whatever team he goes to.
Yeah. So right now, they moved Georgia to 1, Alabama to 2.
Of course, Alabama's 2. Can't drop them below the top 2.
That the Michigan team is a little scary, but they play nobody. The other game I made money on was USC. I love this USC team.
They look great this year. Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, man, they got their stuff down.
2 nights, 2 bets. I didn't do great during the day. I won a couple of, it was okay. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going heavy on USC, and they covered the line there. Just about it. It moved to 9.5, which is a little crazy. Some of these teams, big, huge win for Kentucky over Florida. Florida just got ranked because they beat Utah, that fraud Utah team. And then, now Florida. So that loss for Utah looks worse because Kentucky beat them. But now Kentucky's up inside the top 10, which is interesting. Arkansas. I mean, the SEC is so good. But to me, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, USC. There's some good teams and there's some good games here. Oklahoma, they'll lose a game somewhere that they shouldn't. That's their MO.
I don't know, man. Oklahoma,
they always lose a game.
I'm high on them with Venables as the coach. I think he's going to fix that defense up. Their offense may not be great, but their defense looks like it's rolling.
They'll lose to Baylor or somebody down the stretch. Somebody maybe there, but that's one of those teams. They're a team though. They're like USC. If USC runs the table, and maybe even if they lose one game somewhere, maybe to Notre Dame, they'll be, which I don't think they will, but they'll be in the playoff. You can't just, because I think that the problem is you just can't have. You can't have all these SEC teams in here every year. You got to have some kind of thing. I think this could be the year where one of these teams, there might not be 2, even though Georgia and Alabama are probably the 2 best teams. If one of them loses a game or 2, they're getting dropped out because someone's going to run the table. Like, one of these teams.
Well, they just made it a 12-team playoff for this year, didn't they? So
no, they did.
Yeah, that was like huge news. They're having a 12-team expansion. I think it starts this year. So yeah, man. But I agree with you in the sense that USC, like before.
In 2026.
Oh, in 2026, it's not even this year. Oh my God.
And so after the. But 12 teams is so weird. Like, why not just do 16 so it's a perfect bracket?
I know, right? Like, get some more in there. Let every conference, the champion, represent themselves. You know what I mean?
They're trying to implement it by 2024. So, but
you know why? Because this is their way of countering the UCLA and USC move. They're basically saying to these guys, okay, you know what? If you guys want to move into stronger conferences to help yourself get into the top 4, that's fine. We're just going to get rid of the Final 4.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you can play in a tougher conference and have to compete with those tougher teams to try and get into this 12-team playoff.
Yep.
Because I guarantee you conferences were complaining. They were like, well, now no one's going to watch it. Like the Pac-12. Who's going to want to watch the Pac-12 now when it's just Utah and Oregon left in there?
The Pac-12 merges with the ACC or something like that. They're talking about, like, I don't even know what they would call it, like the bi-coastal whatever.
A bi-coastal conference.
Yeah, exactly.
The BCC.
People are like, oh, they have to fly. Hey, man, Miami's got like $1 billion donors, man. All this NIL stuff, man. They're not worried about money now. Now, come wintertime when there's, no energy and the gas prices are back up and all this stuff, maybe it'll be different. But yeah, I think, hey, Bill's there. What's up, man? Any soccer looks today? Any soccer locks? Took Seattle team total under. Gino is pretty bad. Yeah, at USC joins Big Ten. Bill, I don't know. The card isn't great today. I don't even know. Was there any game?
Save your money for tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about Besiktas and Başakşehir, but it's a tough game there. I don't really love the board today. I like the Broncos tonight. But yes, tomorrow we like some games tomorrow. So I would just say, look, save your money. Maybe make a play on the NFL game like you did, but the soccer board isn't great today. Tomorrow is a different story. There's some pretty good games. We talked about some of them. We didn't really give a lot of picks today. We kind of just did the overview of some games here. So just kind of targeting what games, but so. All right, so we will be back tomorrow. Remember, so we're going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to whenever we finish. And, we're not going to do anything Thursdays right now because it conflicts with another thing right now that I'm doing. But maybe if there's no Europa League, maybe we'll do a night show, something like that. I don't know. We'll try to figure something out. But right now it's not going to be 11 to 12, but we'll work on that. So. But just tomorrow, we're going to be here talking about the Champions League games and all the other games that are going on. I don't think there's too many other ones, but so make sure you tune in. Abby says he can't wait for the USC. I'm telling you, USC's got a chance to make that playoff. I think that they're a very good team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day, and thanks for watching.